I went back to locals. I didn't go for the past couple of weeks. I was caught up, couldn't make it. It was quite unfortunate because I've been enjoying the deck quite a bit, and I played Adventure Crystron again into the new ban list, into the new set. Malice is for sure a problem. There were 5 rounds of Swiss. There was round 1. I went against Malice. I got just cooked, bro. It was just I just got cooked. There's no way. Round 2, I went against Memento. The one that got first place at the OTS, the Goblins. That one was crazy. The game 1 was wild. I'll be uploading in the video later in the week. And it was 1-1. We went to time, so it was a draw. Round 3 was against Atlantean. That was 2-1. That was wild. Round 4 was in Blue Eyes. That was a 2-0. Round 5 was against Fiendsmith Memento. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then top 8, Fiendsmith Cash. Win game 1, lose game 2 in time. As protocol, we start game 3 undecided. Roll dice. Who goes first? I lose dice throw. My opening hand was pretty bad. It was like, what was my hand? It was double TRISTALOS, double draw, Fateful against a Caesar, a Strike, and hand traps. And then I draw for turn and I draw into Fua. And I'm like, but let's get straight into it. I unsleeved it. I needed to get rid of the outer sleeves because they're getting a bit dirty. The 60 card deck, when it's not double sleeved, it's much better. Like, it's not as... It's like, I can grip it. Like, the amount of extra things that you need, like, it's just crazy. It just feels more it feels more compact. It feels a lot better. So first off, we have our triple Speedroid and your Triceratops, just because it's the bridge. Same thing for this guy. This gives you either engine, right? And just sack it into a board, just being able to force an SP. It's huge. It's really good. Then of course the supplementary engine. It's pretty good. Enchantress, your Griffins, your Triple Right, your Fateful, and your Triggerback. I've already covered this in the previous list, but if you come across this and this is the first time you've seen this variant, it's basically because Crystron can play this. This usually sends any Crystron, whether it be TEESPRING or Smiger, and I thought it just makes a lot more sense to be able to send anything else. Because what if I already have access to the other cards, right? You don't want to get bottlenecked at a particular point, and this can be something to bait an Impulse, an Ash, reinforce your board. It's just really good. So Cherubini can just go and send Enchantress. And the way you play this deck, because a lot of you are concerned that you can't use the normal summon effect of your Sorrows, which is how usually you play. You go summon your Sorrows, activate Inclusion, oppress them with the effect of your Sorrows. Oh, you're gonna Ashes. I'm gonna get my guy anyways. Whereas you don't do it that way. You do it. This is a way of forcing that Ash or forcing that Impulse, right? And then you have your triple Sofafnir and your triple Sofador. It is a 60 card list, so I want to maximize the non-engine, so it's a bit weird when you don't have any. Plus, I usually play Grass for the 3rd copy of Sofador. I don't know. I mean, you could put Grass, but I was not playing Grass this time. There's a few times where the Grass was getting rid of my Griffin. It was kind of annoying. I was like, oh. But it's still good though. Still add it, I guess. The thing with these ratios as well, I've tried playing 3. I've the minimal amount. Like, you can't play 2. But the issue with 3 at the bare minimum, because obviously if you don't draw 1, then it works out. But if you draw 1, you're unable to do what you want to do with your Sorrows. So what happens is you would add 1, right? Search 1. And then your Sorrows will summon the other 2. But then you don't have a 5th for their turn to summon it from the deck. So that's why by the bare minimum, you need to play 4. I like 5. 5 seems pretty good. I didn't think it was a bit of an issue, because once you minimize these cards or just any of the cards, you'll find yourself contemplating, what do I want to return off of the cluster, right? And sometimes you don't want to return a particular card. Just maxing them out just avoids that situation altogether, which is cool. And then of course you have your triple Smiger, your main normal summon, and of course TEESPRING and the Turtle. The Turtle's a lot more useful in this variant because it allows you to go Fateful, Search, Griffin, and you can discard any of this. And if you can discard this and you have access to this guy, it makes it a lot better. Or if you have access to your TRISTALOS, you can special TRISTALOS and then try to play after that, which is huge. And there's a few lines where being able to summon this, link it away for Clockwork, you special this guy, threaten an SP, and then you can go effect of this, search for Inclusion. Now you have SP to protect your Sofador. They'll most likely want to impermanent or Veiler it, you know. If they had asked, they probably would have asked you here. And then you have your triple TRISTALOS and your one Citre. Same thing applies. There are times like this is not really good to draw into. It's just for the grind game where you need that 30 copy. Most often, you don't necessarily outright win when you resolve your combo. You just turn it into a grind game basically. And if they open up fairly weak, then there's no real need for the grind game. But most of the time, if they open up like a good hand, they're going to be able to crack your board, and you need to be able to have the sufficient amount of resources to follow it up. And that's where the third one comes up. Triple inclusion, cards insane. Just search you any card, engrave, banish it, special Crystron from grave, which is just huge. And then cluster. This card's insane. This is what allows you to have the grind game. I contemplated playing Impact because of just another card to search, and because being able to just discard it and have the targeting protection is insanely huge sometimes, but I'm not too sure. Against Malice especially. I've even thought about playing multiples because they can't banish any of your Crystron cards, right? And because the engine is so big, right? It's so big, you need to oversaturate with non-engine. I like Pure. We know Pure works, but I feel like it's a bit too simplistic for me. There are cases, it basically turns into the salad problem, Salamangre, where the deck functions really well because it plays so much non-engine. But if you open up no non-engine, the engine itself is not strong enough, right? So that's why I implemented the adventure stuff to not be in that situation, right? Whereas you still have the intent of opening up non-engine, right? Because you're oversaturating it. Say you open up just engine, you have a main engine and supplementary engine to allow you to push through, right? Assuming you don't open up enough of these hand traps. All of these are basically applicable at versus any matchup, which is great. Triple Ash, triple Ogre, triple Bell. I mean, I was testing this, did really well. In theory, I was like, this should be good. And it was actually performing quite well. Triple Droll, triple Veiler, and then of course triple Fua, and triple Imperm, and then of course triple Droplet. I still like this into a Malice board. Can be great. Discard your Crystron names. Like discarding the turtle is always huge. Discarding these two is always so good because that means you bypass the lock, right? So you can add a Sofador, banish this special Sofador. And then you can like chain block with the Faithful, chain 1, chain 2, so they can ash you, which is insane. But this is just basically to ensure that I can open up 2 to 3 hand traps going second. Otherwise, if you try to minimize this deck more, right, you won't see the non-engine. You'll see more engine, which is it's good, but it thrives off a simplified game state. The theory behind these mid-range decks that they're not as resilient, right? They're not meant to snowball an insane amount. It's mainly bait and interaction on the searches while already having the card you needed to search, right? That's how this deck wins. And then you have your side deck, your Duster, Storms. And I was trying this for the first time. I was going with Triple Strike, Triple Judgment. In theory, it's insane if you go first because it just seems so devastating to pair with your Infinity and your Griffin and your whole board. It's just like, how can you lose that? I would rather have this than any of Imperm or Veiler. And then, of course, versus Malice, Lancia, and Hunter. Pretty much self-explanatory. This is very subjective. You can choose any side deck, test out any side deck. And I made a mistake. Let me get to it. It's hilarious. So the extra deck is going to be quite similar. You have your Typhon, your Infinity Package, your SP, your Cherubini, your Clockwork Knight, Thank You Leon. And then, of course, you have your Synchros, your Congandrax, Vermilion. This card's insane. Being able to, like, pop card, banish your hand trap, pop this with Sorrows, add the hand trap back. And then, of course, you have your double S. I was usually on 1. The second one comes up because of Unicorn. Unicorn just ripping this card is kind of devastating. Then you have your Samurai Destroyer, how you play around Nib, your Dragster, your Core Dragon because you play Venture, that and a token. I have a video on that. Go ahead and check it out. It explains everything behind this. Matrix, and then of course, Armory Arm. Okay, this was meant to be Catastrophe, but I was like around with my Edison deck, and this is usually in my Edison deck. I forgot I put it back in the deck because I was just doing test hands, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And then this was the only machine synchro that I had in my deck box. Like, I was like, okay, I guess that works. I was like, this guy wants me to try him out. But yeah, basically the list. Non-engine is subjective. You can go around and switch the non-engine if you want. I felt like all these are applicable based on the variance of what you might be going up against. Like, of course, Droll against Malice, not that great, but everything else is. Ogre versus Blue Eyes is pretty good. Sometimes you can hit the Echo Talker. You revive, you just ogre that. You can bow the trap, you can bow a few things. All applicable. They're not redundant, you know. And Charmy being able to just be able to turn skip potentially is great. But yeah, basically it's gonna be it. Like if you have it, and thanks for watching.